You may not be allowed to read any books without the reading list. You may not be allowed to read any books without the reading list.
Most of the student advisors are extremely helpful. Most of the student advisors are extremely helpful.
If you are worried about your work, you should see a study counselor. If you are worried about your work, you should see a study counselor. We have specially assigned staff to help you find appropriate work placements. We have specially assigned staff to help you find appropriate work placements.
Renewable energy sources are now used to produce electricity. Renewable energy sources are now used to produce electricity.
Living in the 21st century is increasingly stressful. Living in the 21st century is increasingly stressful.
Please make sure you use the standard form of quotation. Please make sure you use the standard form of quotation.
Please read the article that was given out yesterday. Please read the article that was given out yesterday.
Compiling a bibliography can present a major challenge for some students. Compiling a bibliography can present a major challenge for some students.
By logging in, you agree to all terms and conditions regarding your enrollment. By logging in, you agree to all terms and conditions regarding your enrollment. Okay. So this is the big benefit of a universal philosophy. It says it applies to everybody. Well, looks that doesn't, 205 or 206 countries in the world. And you've got something that applies to everybody. That's a bit strange, isn't it? No, says liberal theory. There are same value structures that apply to all of us. You couldn't have the United Nations without it. It couldn't tell you that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights without this idea of values that apply to all of us just because we are humans. Now, the idea is to test that as well. Why is sport universal? Why does everybody play football? It's because the values are specified at a very thin level at the top. There are these rules, and we all have to abide by just these rules. But there are lots of things about football that aren't rules specified. So Brazilian football is different from Italian football, from British football, from German football, from Spanish football.
It's rare to find an adult who actively still wonders what their parents think. But that isn't to say that we aren't wondering about our value in more general terms. It's just that we may, without notice, have taken the question somewhere else, and very often, to particularly harsh modern figures of authority, media and social media. In this pitiless arena, the self-doubting person now directs all their fears of unworthiness and panicked desire for reassurance to a system set up to reward sadism and malice. They constantly raise their phones and implicitly ask, "Do I deserve to exist? Am I okay? Am I beautiful or respectable enough?" And, because social media is built on the troubles of the individual soul, the verdict is never a reliable yes. One is never done with cycles of fear and reassurance seeking. Every time their spirits sink, which is often, the self-doubting sufferer picks up their phone and begs to know whether they have permission to go on. If this might be us, we should grow curious about, and jealous of, people who are free. They are so because someone long ago settled the question of what they were worth, and the answer has seemed solid ever since. Social media is a roar in the next valley, not a mob in their own mind. What do we call the musical instrument which has 6 strings? What do we call the phase in a trial in which both parties interrogate each other?
What do we say if we call brothers and sisters in a same way? What do you call the dark shape your body make on the ground in the sun?